GSL SuperTournament Season 1.
Welcome back, everybody. It's been a pretty crazy night so far, and I think it's going to get a little bit crazier because ByuN vs. Dark is coming up. ByuN, it's always exciting to see him playing well. And, you know, we did not see him pause the game. We did not see him complain about his wrist pain. And he's talked about how he thinks some of that might be like kind of in his mind. Is it psychosomatic? Is that the correct
maybe
term? I don't know.
Well,
I'm like paranormal activity. Is that what that's called? No, it's not.
well, it could be.
Yeah,
but
it could be.
We don't know, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Because our studio is haunted here.
ghosts are real.
Yeah. Did you see a pro gamer over there? That pro gamer's been dead for 30 years.
30 years.
No, but seriously, he has been playing well, and he's kind of playing like his old self, right? I mean, a lot of engagements, a lot of hyper-aggression, sometimes even questionable decision-making. But he's going up against Dark, and Dark really is the best of the best, along with Rogue, when it comes to amazing Zerg players. And I might disappoint some people by saying this, but I do think Dark is probably going to come out here with a 3-1 victory.
3-1 victory. Yeah, I could see that. Like, I mean, I'm not sure what ByuN is going to bring. He was saying during his interview in the last round that he would prefer to play Dark, even though he feels like his TVZ is his weakest. So I'm not sure why you would ask for that, because Dark is pretty insane. Yeah, I'm feeling Dark as well, Tasis.
Yeah, if the thing is, though, this whole tournament has kind of been centered around crazy upsets, so that would be pretty cool if ByuN actually came out on top. But even with all the upsets we've had so far, I think this one is really hard to wrap your head around. But I think we're going to have a better idea after we start Game 1 and see what ByuN's got in store for Dark here on Hardwire.
All right, yeah. I hope that ByuN did some good planning here. Sometimes his TVZ looks absolutely amazing. I'm hoping tonight is one of those nights, because it's going to have to if he's going to take out Dark, our last Zerg in the tournament.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I think Zerg need to buff Artosis. Is that what you're saying?
Fairly certain.
Yeah.
Fairly certain. I mean, we do have two good Zerg players in Korea, and they only win like 60% of the championships between them. So I think we need to bring that up a little bit.
You're saying that Banley needs to do a little bit more damage. Got it. All right. Artosis' words, not mine.
Shopify Rebellion. ByuN. Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Dark.
So here's, let's do an over-under here, Tasteless. So when Dark starts making 100 lings at a time to run Ling Bane towards the back of ByuN's base, I'll let you choose over-under on 90 drones. More or less than 90 drones. I think that's a good line to put it at.
That's a good question.
Because for me, I'm like, oh, it might be 88, but it could be 92.
Yeah, it could be. I'll go with under on this one.
Under?
Just because yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
I mean, one thing that's for sure going to be the case is the fact that ByuN is going to be in Dark's face the whole time. The problem is that when you get against players that are really solid, you know, with what they're trying to do, is sometimes they just sort of shut down everything, and then you get that aggro player looking kind of like a clown. You know, he's been trying to swing punches, and eventually, you know, doesn't have any hands or fingers left.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean by that, but and ByuN, I think you're probably right that he'll stay aggressive. But that being said, I want to say it was right before he went to military, because he did really well in like 2016 won his championships. Then he was up and down for a little bit.
Yeah,
and I'm trying to remember the exact date, but it was like right before he went to military. Yeah. He actually like reformed his TVZ and was playing some pretty awesome late game macro games where he went like mass tank and stuff.
That's true.
Yeah, I remember seeing some of those. So I hope there's some sort of blend there, because if he tries to only play aggressively, it's pretty hard to kill Dark. Dark is like probably the best late game Zerg player when he has less than 50 drones. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
he can manage that.
He's also just gotten to the point where he's able to power to this comical level. And we've seen Zergs do this before, where they kind of become economically abusive. And you were kind of alluding to that with the, you know, when will we go mass bailing into planetaries and stuff like that? Yeah. Above 90 or below 90. Oh.
Wow, that was some good juking and jiving.
It's like suddenly the Reaper turns into an Adept Shade and then just stops and comes back out.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy. I thought the
Zerglings
actually had him, but then the Reaper like turned it into water and splashed on the floor, then reformed like that bad X-Men movie.
Yeah, like
he went through the bars of the cage.
It's like the T-1000 or whatever.
Now that would be a fun RTS unit. You can't ever trap it. Imagine putting that in Warcraft 3. What are they going to do against that, man? Surround it with all your little dudes?
It's called the Windwalk on the Blade Runner, man. Or Blade Walker, not Blade Runner, excuse me.
Yeah, that's true.
When they try to surround Grubby or Moon's Blade Runner. Or no, it was a Blade Walker, right? Blade Walker. Blade Runner's a movie. I'm so bad.
Let's just
he doesn't
mix
know what he's talking about when
references.
He's trying to cast Star Wars over here. Sorry, guys. I'm handed my nerd card right now. Yeah, I've got my fingers crossed that we're going to have a good performance here from ByuN. We've had some really close games today.
Yeah. Surprisingly so, honestly. I think the Hero Maru series much better than I was anticipating. So, Banshee Hellion. Okay. See what ByuN can make happen here.
So he's going to be coming up, trying to take out some tumors, anything little that it can get away with. But again, Dark is so solid in these situations. He's going to be droning up for a while. I'm not surprised that Dark didn't do anything tricky or aggressive early on. I think he has to do the opposite of that. Even though we know that Dark a lot of times will do some kind of quick Roach Warren and try to take some fights. I think especially against ByuN, you need to really test where you are at defensively. Because if you can just shut down his attacks like you can pretty much all the other Terran players in the world, I don't think this is a complicated best of 5 for you.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. There's double Evo relatively quickly here. I mean, double Evo at that time, I think it's going to be for Zerglings?
Yeah, 1-1 here.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so...
We've seen Dark play like this before, though.
Oh, he loves...
powering, lots of lings.
Yeah, he loves, like, the no Spire type plays.
Yeah, it's funny. He'll just have enough spores and queens that there really isn't anywhere on the map that you can kind of fly into. And, you know... the more orthodox approach to the matchup, as well as the approach to defending against medevac drops, is to just incorporate Mutalisks, because they're good in big fights, but they all can also chase down medevacs, kill them off, and allow you to basically control the game that way. But it does seem like what Dark likes to do is just skip the tech and save the gas. Go mineral heavy into the spores, the queens.
There's his macro hatchery and everything, so it's definitely going to be pure Ling Bane.
And then you just fill it in with lings, and it can kind of make a fool out of some of these Terrans that are trying to be, you know, comboing different attacks in different spots when they all get shut down, and you're just sitting on mass lings, and eventually when it's a Zerg's turn, you just come in and flood.
Yeah. The double Banshee comes up and gets 2 drones, forced out immediately by the queens. Good amount of spores up here as well. Baneling Nest coming up. 4 hatcheries on the way right now.
Yeah, and this is, it's kind of a disgusting style, if I could just try to describe it myself, watching it happen.
Yeah.
It's, you just kind of keep forcing growth and kind of don't allow, you know, the Banshees or the medevacs or anything to really, you know, have an impact on the game. And so far, it seems to be working out pretty well. Now, we've seen ByuN pretty much respect this, by the way. I was a little bit worried we would see ByuN kind of run into situations where, like, Dark's just going to have more. And if it was any player other than Dark, ByuN might come out on top because he's so completely insane with his control. But so far, not the case. We're seeing a very restrained ByuN here.
Well, 1-1 finishing up for both sides here. The Banshee's still going around a little bit.
Okay, that's a pretty big catch to force the cancel.
That's really annoying.
Terran could still get the money back, but to just, you know, have to restart the clock on the structure being built is pretty good. Okay, we've got the first attack in over here. Now, Baneling speed is not done. Oh, but the Lings can come in here for the flank. And unfortunately, a lot of them get caught on the edge of that high ground structure. And so a big chunk are just bitten off by the Baneling attack.
Hydralisk Den coming up now. We'll see if he actually goes into Hydras, or like, is this just for Lurker tech?
Yeah, if I had to guess, I think it would probably be for some Lurker tech here.
Yeah, see the Hive gets started as well, so I think he is lining it up for that.
I think you basically...
normally, if you start with the 2 Evos that early, like, and he already made the Infestation Pit, so it wouldn't make too much sense to go into Hydras, like, after Infestation Pit. So, ByuN right now filling in with some Hellbats. He did retain all of his Hellions from the early game. So that definitely can be helpful. Obviously, Banelings do well against them, but they're kind of big, so they can absorb quite a bit.
Okay, this is pretty good control here from ByuN. I especially like the Hellbat ending up there on the ramp. You know, makes the Banelings unable to access this part here. But, you know, the issue is Zerg is just not slowing down. You know, growth is getting completely out of control economically here. We've got a sizable Terran army. I mean, he's got Hellbats. He's got a lot of Marines and Medevacs. But, you know, Terran is occupying a pretty insignificant part of the map. Now, some of this is just how the matchup works, but again, we basically not see Terran into what is almost now the 10-minute mark make a single scratch on the Zerg.
Yeah, that is true. He's pushed back creep a little bit. He's killed like 3 drones or something, 2 drones.
Yeah, that's...
And, I mean, this is a lot of bases for Dark to have already.
And when we start to get the Lurker tech out here, then you can always counterattack with Ling Baneling, and you can always hold your bases with the Lurkers. It's a lot more complicated for a Terran to try to break through an array of Lurkers.
That is for sure. A lot of Marauders and Marines being produced right now. 2-2 is almost done on both sides. Quite a few mines are out as well. At least somewhat helpful. And he is getting some Hydra upgrades. Like, I think it's good to have them, but it still seems like it should be going into Lurker relatively soon here.
The little Baneling attacks coming in here at the bottom are reducing some of the workers down there. And by the way, you know, we were talking about this earlier. Artosis Dark at 84 workers right now. Continuing to come in here. Beautiful surround here by Dark.
Yeah. Well, ByuN gets away with actually most of it there. Those Marauders being kind of heroic at the front. Cases, you haven't won yet, though. It hasn't been 100 Lings in production as of yet. He's only making 40 to 50 at a time.
Now, the issue is even when ByuN has a pretty good fight, the Zerg has so many bases now that you could just, you know, do a mineral and gas sink back into more Banelings. And if you keep trading in, you know, eventually you've also grown behind this. And it's just, it's tough for the Terran to deal with.
+3 armor on the way here for ByuN. ByuN has been starting his armor upgrades before his attack upgrades every time. I don't know why I've noticed that, but I wonder if it's on purpose. Okay, a little drop into the main base. That gets cleaned up very, very quickly.
Yeah, and again, the Spores alone allow to be enough of a threat in combination with the Queens here.
ByuN, by the way, is like, he's sitting here maxed out, and he is just playing straight up Marine Marauder Mine Medevac here against Lingbane Hydra, which can be a bit difficult. It's something we've seen Maru do effectively, but not too many other Terrans. And it feels like he's doing a reasonable job. He's trying to snipe this hatch. He does get it, and will actually get out with quite a bit. Not bad.
Yeah, that's a pretty big victory. Really the first victory, I think, here for ByuN that has a lot of substance here versus Dark, is to take out one of these bases where he was soaking up minerals and gas from. And he gets out with the majority of his stuff. Now the Zerg tech is getting more dangerous here. You know, we've got Lurker tech coming, we've got Vipers in play.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot better for him. ByuN does have his 4 bases up. I see a couple command centers there being made. So definitely going to try to expand a little bit more. Ghost Academy coming up. We don't see anything else to help deal with Lurkers, though. And, you know, that could end up being a bit of a problem. Like, is he going to go mass factories at that point? Is it possible is he just going to try to rely on bio and ghosts? That can be really hard against lots of Lurkers.
Yeah, that can be tough. you know, the Lings and Hydras coming in here now. Oh, I like that he burrows a bunch of those down there. Looks like these Banelings are going to just coast right by that Widow Mine. Pretty good splitting here from ByuN, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, he's being pretty efficient, I think, like overall against a lot of these Ling Bane attacks.
Okay.
But it is getting a little bit scary right now. ByuN's income is still very, very good. He's on those 4 bases. But it feels like, you know, he no longer has any real map control here.
Yeah, and now we got to see how these attacks down here are going to do. I don't think this is going to be enough from the Zerg. Oh, I see. He wants to just try to Baneling into the SCVs. And this is actually a pretty good trade right here. To come in, you take out 8 SCVs, and you go back and start to muster up a larger army. Now, Lurkers are in play, but honestly, ByuN has kind of carved out this center-left location here pretty effectively. I mean, the Zerg doesn't really have any creep here in the center-left.
Yeah.
Honestly, he's basically pushed Zerg back to his fourth upper sliver of the map.
And Dark is still trying to expand in that direction. ByuN going to keep some pressure on towards there, but with Lurkers now, this is where I get a little bit nervous about ByuN's composition overall.
Well, if the Lurkers aren't in very high numbers, they can be sniped like we saw back there. And whenever you see a couple Lurkers go down, it's a pretty big blow for the Zerg, no doubt.
Yeah, coming up here to the side once again. He starts +3 attack now finally. Does have that +3 armor done. And he's not switching his unit set. So it seems like this is the plan from ByuN, is to just keep the pressure on with mass bio. I'm worried about it though, because if Dark realizes that, like, oh wait, he's not adding any tanks, he's not adding anything else, he can just go like slightly heavier lurker, kind of lurk everything up, and that it's like you can't really attack into it.
Yeah, I mean, you're completely correct. I mean, it's a very hard position to actually try to break into. ByuN is, I think, honestly playing a really good game here. Like, I'm pretty amazed considering how well Dark has played against so many other players using this kind of style, that he's kind of held everywhere.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think if Dark slips up in 1 or 2 of these attacks, the momentum from ByuN might be too much. But to what you were talking about earlier, Artosis, was, you know, there's a number of lurkers out now. It's been a little bit of a quiet game here, so, you know, for the last minute or two. So there's going to be a lot more Banes ready to go. And Terran doesn't have that many spots that are of value. So even if, like, Terran loses one of these bases, the 3rd or the 4th, he's going to be low, right?
Yeah.
Terran is not in a position where Terran has all of the bottom and Zerg has all of the top, right?
Yeah.
Zerg has been fought back to some extent, but Terran hasn't grown into the map in the way we might expect someone like Maru to, or TY in the past, where they can kind of hold their own against the Zerg.
Nice snipes come out as he's trying to break down the rocks with these lurkers.
Yeah, actually, I mean, really good free shots there on the lurkers, to be honest. I think he could basically just go up there and kill these other 2 now.
Yeah, absolutely. Starts to engage, but oh my god, so many Ling Bane Hydra lurker come in. Oh my god.
Yeah, way more above the screen than we realized. Excuse us. Does not succeed with some of these pickups. And that was a big ground victory there. And now there's really nowhere to actually unload these units. So they stay in the air while the Zerg continue to decimate the ground. They're going to come in here to the natural. This is kind of a funny spot to attack into. But I guess if Zerg can control this area here, it's going to be pretty easy to take out the other 2 bases that Terran has. Oh, I'm sorry, other 3 bases.
Yeah, and he's actually just erasing everything here. Some more snipes will end up going down. The attacking units of ByuN actually stimming and running back home to try to help out. But this situation is dire indeed. ByuN with almost nothing left over. All of his bases are falling. His army is a lot smaller now.
Yeah, I mean, he does take this out, but I don't know, man. Some of these bases are very exposed. I mean, look at this one here. There's nothing to save these SCVs. The Banelings come in from each side along with the other Lings. Clear that out. 43 SCVs have been killed. And even though this army from ByuN's not bad, I don't think it's going to be enough to actually take this on.
No, he just blew up the command center as well, so it's like 20 SCVs against 81 drones right now.
It's crazy to see this style from Dark that's just so strong.
Yeah, and he's super good at it. But look, this game actually reminded me a lot of the Terran vs. Protoss games that we watch, right?
Sure.
Where the Terran looks like they're doing very, very good with mass bio everywhere, pressuring all angles, but they never make an army that can actually engage what their opponent is making.
Right, and eventually there's going to be these super units that come in. GG, Dark,
and you saw that there. You saw that there.
The lurkers are finally out, and it's like it's really hard to actually kind of force your way into a fight.
Yeah, we don't have like any siege tanks. It's not, you know, we don't really have any sort of setup that can punish this. Whereas, you know, as soon as Dark actually brings his army together and goes, everything breaks.
It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
I think ByuN did okay, though. I really do. But yeah, he wasn't able to get into this like split map. Let's drag the game out. Let's get lots of ghosts. Let's kind of make it impossible for anything to work anywhere. He basically was stuck in his quadrant of the map. Zerg had a little bit around half the map there. And, you know, from there, Dark had already soaked up enough of the resources that really it's very easy to buy your way out of that situation.
Yeah. Tough game there for ByuN, but he looked good for a good portion of it. Maybe if he can get a little bit of damage in another game, he can finish Dark off.
It's possible, man. We're going to go to game 2 now and see if that's the case. ByuN vs. Dark continues on.
Shopify Rebellion. ByuN.
We're not going to... What?
This is too important, Tasteless. He's making
a
whoa! Maybe it's a Command Center first build? Like one of those ones where you go Command Center and then wall with the Raxes?
Maybe. I think it's a welcome
Or
strat.
it could be like one of these 3 Rax Reaper builds where you have the wall too.
Oh, that's possible. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, there's a gas, and I think if it's down here, it's likely to be at least 2 Rax Reaper.
I think another SCV is coming down right now to build just that. And you said you think it might be 3 racks?
It's possible. I've seen with these walls, people go for the 3 racks occasionally. Now, the only thing that makes me nervous about this type of build is he's at top left instead of bottom right. So if Dark, who is someone known for going roaches quite often, goes for that, add-ons are not an option. Because the add-ons are almost in Dark's natural.
They're almost in his natural.
Yeah, they're
very, very
it's
close.
A
good point. You know, positionally, this doesn't complement getting Terran add-ons. This does remind me of ByuN, like trying to channel. What year did he become the world champion? 2016, right? Okay. Channel that 2016 energy here.
Yeah.
With some Reaper play. I don't know how well this is going to work. I'm a little bit worried that Dark is going to step on this like a puny bug, but let's see. You know, the issue when you do builds like this is the Reaper is like... Reaper's like a funny unit because I think it, you know, when people first saw it before the game was out, it's like, oh, wow, what is that going to be able to do? That looks pretty good. But it's basically been whittled down to this unit that can barely do anything after the first couple minutes. So you need to really get damage in right away here.
Oh. Yeah. Well, that's a good thing in a lot of ways. If you remember all the different Reapers, like at the beginning of the game, it was so unbelievably broken.
It was literally just Reapers kiting
just 5
forever.
Racks Reaper, just always. And but yeah, ByuN actually is a big part of why Reapers aren't that useful. Because he was just so good with them.
He was so dominant. He was doing these strats like nobody else could even do, but it would work when he did it. And so he's kept both Reapers alive. That's important. Once we see 1 or 2 Reapers die, there's no more momentum.
Oh, he popped 2 Marines and hit them to the side, and now he brings them up to try to snipe the Overlord. I think he brought them maybe too soon, or maybe it just turned around. So he's
kind of a cool idea.
Yeah, I like that idea a lot.
So I actually was not paying attention to what was on the Terran side of the map. I actually thought there were just more and more Reapers coming. So he's got, you know, the wall in up here. He's got the command center about to finish. The Reapers really haven't done that much.
But they got like 2 drones.
Yeah.
Drones for some lings.
Wow, they get away again. Not bad.
I'm down. They did all right. It's an interesting build because he didn't make more than the 2 Reapers. He made 2 Reapers, then he made 4 Marines. He kills an Overlord. He gets a couple drones. This is not a bad opening. I rather like this.
Yeah, let's see what kind of game it's going to bring us.
Dog, get out of the way.
This is the dog map, dude. You get your own
That dog's
doggo.
a lot smarter than my dog, man. I go to sit on the couch, and I
Yeah.
hear, "Roar!" I'm, oh no, Rusty, oh, what are you
sit
doing
on
there? I did once, yeah. Poor little guy.
Cloak and Banshee coming. And did he end up getting the add-ons out here? No, so you know, I feel like eventually he's going to have something come here.
Right?
You can't just not get add-ons, right? That's not a thing.
You don't need stim and combat
There
shields.
it is.
I guess he's got a good amount of units now. He's feeling fine, especially with the Banshee coming out. Those things I was talking about aren't going to come into play.
Banling's Nest started, but this could just be him going through a normal build order.
You know, yeah.
It's not like it's an unusual time. Like, what is he up to?
But also, wouldn't it be cool if he goes Ling Bane and blows up the add-ons while they're trying to get stim?
That would be epic.
That would be cool.
That would be a welcome play, for sure. I mean, obviously, that thought has to cross Dark's mind.
I don't know, it's such a weird situation, though, right? 4 spores coming up.
I mean, we'll see if he makes Banelings right away, because there's not a real need to make Banelings right now. There's not a real threat of Terran. Well, hold on. Hellion's coming out across the map.
Yeah, good amount of Marines as well. That's a lot of damage output,
But
actually.
there's no Medivacs with this, so you can't pick up. And he went for Banshee. So you have to be careful with unit comps like this, because you might be able to get some damage, but if you get into trouble, you can't really get away. They're just going to do this pilgrimage around that giant green thing.
Yeah. Oh. Bad flick there. All right, we're going to hurt this spawning pool.
Yep, he hates that.
We're going to hurt that spawning pool like we've been hurt. Yeah, he's not actually finding any real damage.
This is the thing, is he has this kind of unusual unit composition, and I'm not really sure what he's supposed to be able to get away with here. And the thing is, if he commits to this and he loses it, he's like completely behind, and I think Dark has an easy game.
No, you don't want
So
to do
like, he's just sort of sitting around outside of his base.
Yeah, it's a funny group of units.
And, you know, as time passes, I think Zerg just becomes more and more immune to whatever this was intended to do.
Well, he almost has stim. Do you push in at stim and target Banes and try to rely on those Hellbats?
Maybe. I mean, you better have perfect control. It is ByuN we're talking about, so it looks like it's going to be that time. Stim just now finishes. The Queens are kind of making it a little bit tough now for these.
You can't attack that. Let's be realistic, Tasteless. You can't. You can't.
So many Queens here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a weird TVZ. It's a build order that, you know, was kind of hard to follow when it started out. And I don't know where it's really brought us in this game. I mean, this is just not a threat. Now with Ling's speed, he's like, what's up? This is, we call Zergan.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay.
Well, I mean, that's what Terran had built up to into the game, and it's gone now for pretty much no cost.
Yeah, he has his 3rd base up, so I guess there's that. He does have 1-1 finishing pretty soon, although +1 Carapace was very quick from Dark. Hydralisk Den on the way, so that's looking more like Lingbane Hydra to me in that last game.
Well, I don't think he came into this game planning this. I think this is a response from wiping the army.
Yeah, maybe.
So I think you kill off an army like that and you go, okay, Lingbane Hydra, let's actually DPS down the 3rd base and just win.
Yeah, if you're ahead like this, that seems like it's not a bad choice.
So, I mean, is there more that Terran can do here? I just worry because of that weird unit comp setup that just didn't do anything. You know, you know, when you get to the pro level games, if you really just lose all your stuff and you've made no trades with it, you know, you haven't gotten ahead in some other way, it's kind of hard, especially against Dark, to see somebody winning here.
Yeah. A little Ling counterattack does get pushed back by Springs and a Banshee.
Ooh.
Another little attempted run by.
Yeah.
Still get a little bit of damage.
It's going to get combat shields. Maybe not. Maybe he has to pull away.
trying to get some damage here. This is such a small push. Like, the siege tanks are very well placed, no doubt.
Oh, no. 6 SCVs go down.
It doesn't feel like anything is going particularly well for ByuN here.
Yeah, it's got some of the, on the surface level, you see tanks out here and Marines, but we have not seen even, like, the start of a threat, really.
Yeah, and now this comes. Well, he does not have what he needs to stop this attack.
Well, I think the Terran got so far behind that now the Zerg doesn't really have to respect anything. Even this attack over here, it's like...
It's not even an
It's
attack.
not even in range of anything that matters.
There's like a hornet nest near Dark's house. He doesn't really care. If he doesn't bother it, it won't bother him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's no way to do any kind of real damage, and so you see kind of nothing happening on either side here for ByuN. The defense isn't there. Dark attacks there with impunity. He sets up positions like this, and they never even get in range of attacks that are now going to be wiped out. This game's over, man.
Yeah, all of ByuN's attacks seem to have been ineffectual.
I think he just kills him now.
Well, yeah. GG?
GG. Okay, guys, sorry, that was, you know what? That was my favorite StarCraft 2 game of all time. All right.
It was like...
That was rough.
There were some interesting ideas out of ByuN, but none of them really came to fruition. It's like he couldn't put the pressure on. The Baneling Nest, I think, was quicker than he expected.
Well, also, like, how often do we really see people go double racks like that and then be like, aha, Marines. For a while with no add-ons, where it's like, okay, you actually have to get add-ons in this game.
Yeah.
It's one of the more predictable things. And maybe if you're going to, like, do some kind of an all-in, all right, then let's make some stuff. But it's like, yeah, you made Marines to catch an Overlord. I'm like, this is not...
Well, I think also, like, I think he was aiming to do damage with the Marine Hellbat push, with the Banshee there, or the couple of Banshees. Like, I think that if that was against just Ling Queen, maybe that is something that has real potential to injure Dark. But Dark made the Baneling Nest quickly enough that there was really no issue at any point. Like, he was completely safe all the time. Like, you have these Marines that don't have combat shields, they don't have stim, and he has, like, a handful of Banelings with his Ling Queen, and you're not going to do anything.
There's nothing that... If he has enough Banes, there's nothing you can do. And it's not a new idea. It's a pretty old theme in StarCraft 2, to be honest, where if you know, slow units on a map versus fast units on a map, the moment that fight goes sideways for you, you can't get out. And that's what we had. We had, you know, we have Hellbats, we have Marines coming up here, and it's like, all right, now he's got Speedlings, he's got Banelings. He kind of wavered outside the base for a while, where it seems like in any normal StarCraft 2 game, the moment that those units get there, immediately you attack, right? It has to be hinged on getting in there and doing damage before they have whatever they need to defend. So, like, he just sort of sat out there with clearly an army that's not going to be good against, you know, anybody who's comfortable stopping making drones and getting the other stuff they need. And I almost feel like we saw ByuN really do a big reach there. Do you see what I'm saying strategically?
Yeah.
Like, he did okay in game 1 and then said, all right, I don't want to play like that anymore. Let me try something crazy and see if this works, and it completely backfired.
Yeah, it did backfire. You know, trying to get early damage against these top Zergs can backfire quite often.
Sure.
Because as soon as you're not teching quickly, not macroing quickly, not getting those upgrades quickly, then suddenly you're just behind because Zerg can get into all the bases and drones that they really need. So we'll see if he can do a bit better here on Glittering Ashes. Dark looking for that 3-0. Is he going to be able to move on? Our only Zerg in this round of 8.
Yeah, I mean, I've got my fingers crossed that ByuN can come back. I'm not as confident, though, especially after that game. It was a very questionable game from ByuN.
Yeah, both games it did look like Dark was a step above.
A lot of signs that strategically ByuN didn't really have an answer to how Dark plays.
Yeah.
We're going to go to Glittering Ashes and see if that's what ByuN turns into.
Game starts. Shopify Rebellion. ByuN. Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Dark.
Well, good luck, ByuN.
Feels like he's going to need it.
I hate talking like this because it is kind of a bummer, but it really did seem like that last game he didn't have confidence, so he's like, I got this weird thing that I do sometimes, and it's beat some good players, and people don't really do it, so let me try this.
Sure. Well, hey, that's, you know, that is something that we see when you're playing against some of these top Zergs where you feel like you need to kill drones early on to have a chance.
Or you need to take control of the game in some way.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, that just didn't work. Maybe he's used to doing a little bit more damage with the Reapers or the other players overreacting to that. And then, you know, because of those small miscalculations on that side, then later on this push comes in and surprises the other player and he wins there. It does seem like you're supposed to be pocketing the Hellions as kind of like a surprise when they come out with the rest of that.
Oh, you mean with the Bioforce?
Yeah. And then you have the Hellbats and
Sure.
I don't know. It just didn't look like a an even game whatsoever.
Well, we'll see what he has planned for us here. Looks like a pretty standard Reaper expansion. Dark's build not looking weird at all.
And I don't think Dark's build has to look unusual or weird either. I think he probably, in his head and his heart, knows he's better than ByuN right now. He's feeling it more and more with each passing game. And probably thinking to himself, I just got to play a clean series. You know what I mean? I don't need to really take risks here. I don't need to be super creative. I just need to not miss any beats.
Yeah. All right, Reaper comes in. We have the Reactor and Factory going up at home for ByuN, so looking pretty standard so far. Good Reaper micro as always.
Now, does ByuN go back into something that looks a little bit more like Game 1, or does he have more weird stuff that he could try to pull off? Nothing so far is going to give away what his plans are yet.
Very standard, actually. He starts the 3rd CC. So it's Reactor to Hellion 3rd CC, which is, I mean, this is, every Terran knows this build.
Yeah, so he's... Oh, that's unusual.
Yeah, that is a little bit.
Oh, and look at Dark. He smiled. He's like,
and his Overlord gets away.
Yeah, that's when you know things are working out. It's like, all right, I'm up 2-0.
It's almost time to make a Swarm host stasis.
Yeah. And he's already made 2 pretty huge errors.
Okay, so... Yeah, I mean, ByuN's build is good. Let's see if he can follow this up with the macro required. Ro.8 coming up.
Now, you know, with the Ro.8 coming here, maybe there is a kind of timing attack he wants to do with this.
Sometimes for Dark?
Yeah, do you think there's maybe something he could try to come in here and hit him with?
I'm trying to think of something. Like, no, I think ByuN can't be hurt.
Just
like,
with the Banshees
is
alone,
late.
the Roaches can't do anything. I just wonder if there's, you know, with a 3cc.
It is a 3cc. If he had gone earlier Ro.8, it could have been one of those games where, like, you kill a lot of SCVs, but
the Banshee barely gets out,
it
chases him away, and you're like, I don't care, I'm already drawing.
Yeah, but it's the Ro.8, it almost looks just like a safety Ro.8.
It's kind of like the Baneling's Nest, where sometimes you make it, it's like, well, I don't need to make Banelings yet, but if I do, I have this thing.
Well, he makes 7 Roaches. He does have Zergling speed already. 8 Roaches, okay. All
right, maybe he is going to do something here.
But with Banshees, I don't think he gets anything done.
But did he see the Banshees being made earlier? I wasn't actually watching for that.
No, I believe not.
So with 9 Roaches, I think he either wants to attack or thinks he's about to be attacked. And with every Link Scout, I think he's actually
definitely going
thinking
to
he's going to he's going to attack in here.
Yeah. But as soon as you see this, you bring your Banshees, and it's like, okay, so 16 Lings being made. So Dark is actually doing a very aggro build here. Like he's going for the attack, but between Hellions like slowing down the Lings and Banshees coming out, like he'll have his 2nd Banshee before this gets here.
But if he has enough to break down, well, I guess you're not even a wall in yet, but you know, there might be one started up when he gets over here. If he can crack this open and just, you know, chase SCVs away and do all that, I mean, that could be pretty big here.
This is worst case scenario, though. 2 Banshees? Like, look at how quickly he's popping everything. He's not going to take any damage.
Yeah.
He's like going to be way far ahead.
He's going to come up here and try to get these SCVs and trying to get some connections over there. And yeah, this is held. So, I mean, the attack does come out. Actually, 8 SCVs is pretty good, but, you know, you lose all those roaches and ravagers in the process. The layer starts up now.
Yeah, he's got 3 commands. So, like, even if you kill 20 there, he's going to refill reasonably quickly. With 3 command centers, the economy of ByuN is going to explode at this point. He's got his double eBay up before double Evo, so that's really good. And, yeah, I really like his position. Just, you know, it's kind of funny because Dark turns on the aggression there. He's not entirely sure what's going on, and ByuN is kind of doing just a very safe, very straightforward macro game and blocks it perfectly.
And, I mean, this is a really good sign for ByuN here. I mean, I'm not saying ByuN, like, is massively in the lead, but the attack that Dark did, clearly it was a miscalculation or a lack of intel, because you're right, 2 Banshees, he gets there, it's like, yeah, these kill Ravagers pretty fast.
They really do.
I hope I can dodge your biles, lol. But now we've got ByuN on a 3rd base, so, I mean, things are kind of setting up. We do see the 1-1 upgrades coming right now for Dark over here, but it looks like ByuN may be moving out. Oh, maybe not, actually. I'm sorry. He's kind of parked outside. We're not getting a shot of his army, but it's there. There it is. So, okay, he is going to move out. And this is going to be headed towards the 4th base that Dark has. It's in the 9 o'clock spot.
A lot of roaches being made. He is getting melee attack, so...
Now, is this attack too soon here for Terran? I mean, I know upgrades are pretty far out here for the Zerg, but, you know, we don't have that big of a Terran army. Oh my god, and he gets in. You can see 1 depot shuts, but it's not the one that he needs. He didn't do it in time. And with this big counterattack here, he's going to force these SCVs to run. He's pulled the army back. He's bought time. Nicely done.
Yeah, that is nice. That stalls everything out that ByuN was trying to do pressure-wise and gets a little bit of damage. So, very solid. Dark going to get that 4th base droned up, it looks like. A lot of Lings, Ravagers, Roaches coming out. Baneling Nest just now starting.
Yeah, the Ling attack did keep the Terran back for a little bit, but I do think that, you know, ByuN is building up pretty nicely. Got another factory coming down now. And, I mean, let's see if this push could do that much. I don't feel like he has that many medevacs over his army. Am I wrong about that? We're
yeah,
seeing
he
like
doesn't have too many. Yeah.
So, again, you know, when there's no medevacs, things like tanks get surrounded.
Does he really only have 1 medevac?
Dude, I swear I'm not seeing medevacs at least.
2.
Okay, he has 2 there, but still, that's a very low number, right?
Yeah.
That can't even pick up everything that's on the ground right now. So, you know, I do worry that if he starts to take a fight and it's one that he can't win, that he's just going to get clobbered. You know,
he'll be able to definitely one he can't win.
Yeah, see, and so he can pick up that much, maybe a little bit more than that, but you see what I'm saying? I mean, without enough medevacs, and this is one of the things about going for Banshees, or, you know, you get anything that's not medevacs out early, that medevac count stays low, and then you don't have a lot of map presence.
Well, right now, ByuN is getting ready for a 4th base. He does have his 2nd factory, getting that vehicle weapons, so maybe going to transition into siege tanks a little bit more heavily, whereas Dark seems to be heading towards like a Ling Bane composition, even though we see a good amount of Roach Ravager here. That's just kind of some muscle to help him out since he didn't have the right production or economy for pure Ling Bane. He's very good at fighting with that type of unit set. It's like one of his superpowers.
Dark continues to grow out on the map. And is getting to the point of almost being maxed out here. Oh, tries to target that down. That's too bad. I see the idea.
Yeah.
Wanted to just get the snipe. Maybe a little bit too greedy there from ByuN.
A little bit.
You know, you
almost got it.
You explode the hatchery and you're so ahead, but then you lose a fight like that, and you know it's hard to have that much of a presence on the map anywhere. Now this map is one where like it's kind of easy to stay in this sliver of the map that Terran's on. But besides the base at 3 o'clock, you start to run out of bases that are on high ground. And it can be kind of like trying to get off of an island if the Zerg has enough creep everywhere.
I like the Ultralis Cavern coming up, but I mean, there are a lot of siege tanks being created. ByuN with a very scary army right now. He does have 2-2 against 1-1.
Ooh, did he commit too hard?
I think
Oh,
he's all right.
He whiffed with the corrosive bile there. One bile landing next to the tanks.
The upgrade advantage is pretty significant right now, but that is going to be cleaned up a little bit here as Melee and Carapace too are both finishing.
And he's going to keep trying to leapfrog these tanks over here. Again, I just worry Zerk's just going to have too much here. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, those blinding clouds coming out.
Yeah, muting the tanks over here and killing every single one of them. And I don't see a real reason for Zerk to stop moving out. I mean, he just keeps winning. He's going to swallow up this entire army up here. And it is just going to be chaos here inside the Terran side of the map. A lot more Lings coming out here. 58 more in production as Bane stretch out, trying to connect on top of these SCVs.
Yeah, he does kill some. He does kill some. ByuN, though, still has 67 SCVs, not too bad. Those Banshees still complete heroes. I'd love to see just the kill counts on those things. They've defended everything for him so far.
It would be an interesting stat to see, because they've been here since the very beginning. And they're always firing in these fights, but I don't know, dude. It's just, it's hard to see a base being wiped out here for Dark. I mean, Dark is, you know, more than double the size of the Terran now on the map.
Well, this one's his furthest out one. It's like so close to ByuN. He does drop in, but can't quite get it.
Well, the creep is so well connected, you know, Lings and Ravagers just get there in time.
The map's what, like 40% creep right now?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. The Spore dueling the Banshees.
Little drop here, does have to zoom out. That one has 7 kills.
That's way less.
Maybe the other one had like 15 kills.
Maybe the other ones always had their their missile hit second.
Yeah.
Killing workers.
That happens. It's like how you finish all my jokes, Stasis.
That's why my kill count's so high. Okay, this is not exactly the most ideal angle to attack into, but let's see how much damage he can actually do here. I mean, these Banes are just continuing to deal damage, and look, it wasn't exactly the most favorable trade, but you know, you get a Zerk that's this rich, he can kind of pick and choose his fights as he sees fit.
Yeah, his income is really, really high right now, 3.8K per minute, so that is an insane amount of Lings that he can be producing. Starting some Ultras as well, but this is a Marauder heavy, siege tank heavy army. So he definitely can put some damage out against those Ultras as well.
But lots of Banelings coming in with that, though. You know, even though Marauders are pretty good against you know, Marauders and tanks, you get a high enough number of this, and they can kind of negate all these features the units have against each other. And here we go, another big attack in here.
Yeah, those parasitic bombs on the medevacs reducing that count just brilliantly.
Man, that tank in the bottom goes down. Just a few remaining units over here, and these Ultras might be just tough enough they can start to pick off these other units. And again, there's going to be, I don't know how many Lings are going to be made right now from this, but we're seeing the number build up rapidly. And that was most of the sophisticated tech for Terran. That was most of the tanks. I don't know how many medevacs were killed, I didn't see, but you know, there's going to be a number where, you know, it's going to be like the Zerk's just bowling for Terrans at this point in time with the Banelings, you know. He's got so many more Banes that he can remake at the snap of a finger, and he's just going to look at a base and start sending them in there.
Yeah. Drilling Claws coming up for ByuN, so maybe a different plan in his head, but it might be too late for that.
I think we're past that transitioning point. There it is, GG. Dark takes game number 3.
Yeah, the 3-0.
In the spirit of day 2 of the Super Tournament, we had a 3-0.
More like in the spirit of day 1, where we had 2 3-2s and then a 3-0.
That's right.
Yeah, so honestly, ByuN looked just a bit outclassed in this matchup. It doesn't feel like he has a chance against Dark right now. He's definitely going to have to clean that matchup up at least. Even though his TBT did look really good already in the tournament. But yeah, that felt rather one-sided.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, well,
it never looked like ByuN was going to be able to kill him. Like, he actually put up a pretty good-looking fight in game 1, but it didn't feel like there was potential for killing.
And he had cool builds, but they just turned out to be obsolete. Guys, the final match for tonight's games is coming up after this short break. We will be right back.